Hey guys, it's Truman from 4Runner Lifestyle. Today we're going to be installing the 4Runner Lifestyle Raptor lights. Now we get a lot of emails and questions about compatibility as well as color options and how we're going to go about installing these. So today we're going to answer all those questions for you as well as install them today just so we can clear everything. We already have a video of these Raptor lights installed, but this is going to be a more updated video for 2020 plus as well as any earlier than that as well for the 5th gen. So for today, we're going to be diving into all of the color and size options that you can choose for your 4Runner, as well as compatibility. And so it is going to get a little confusing with all the options that we carry for you, but just sit tight and we'll explain everything. Okay, first things first and most apparent are the colors. We have 4 color options for the upper grill setup, which we'll talk about later. We have the smoked amber, original amber, smoked white, and then clear white. All right, so when it comes to choosing if you want smoked or original color in the amber as well as the white, the light output when it comes to lighting these up on your grill, the difference is very minuscule. The difference is the color that it appears when the light is off, because when it's off, this is obviously orange, and then when this is off, it has more of a clear / smoked look to it. And so it's how you want them to look when they're off rather than the light output itself. All right, so when it comes to color, it's totally preference and it's going to match the other colors of your lights on your rig, and it's totally up to you. And so going over to sizing, there's also going to be a larger setup that comes in 3 or 4, and in that larger setup, it comes in all these colors besides the clear white. Okay, so bringing the other size option up side by side with the upper grill setup, you can see the size difference. These are going to be a little smaller, a little bit more sleek. And then when the upper 3 light setup comes along, you're going to see it's a little larger. And so this one is compatible for the 3 light setup for the upper grill or the 4 light setup in the lower grill. All right, so just to make everything super clear because I know it's very confusing. If you're going to get the 4 light upper grill setup, it's going to be these small ones right here. And if you're going to get the 3 light upper setup, it's going to be this one. And then we also carry the lower setup, which comes in 4, and it's the larger one as well. All right, so diving into sizing and compatibility more, the smaller light setup is going to fit on most upper grills. The thing that they won't fit on is if you have upper grill bars, which we can show you a picture of right here. But anything other than that, it's going to be compatible with the 4 light setup if it looks like this mesh right here. And so diving into the larger setup, these larger ones are going to be required if you have a limited nightshade venture, anything like that. These are going to be required because the upper grill setup won't work. And so these screw into the lowers. So we do sell all of these products as one listing on our website, but they also do come included with our TRD Pro grills on our website because that's kind of what they're built for. But if your TRD Pro grill does look sort of like our TRD Pro grill as well, then it will probably fit most likely, but we can't guarantee it because it's meant for our grill. So if you do have any compatibility questions, just go ahead and reach out to sales@4Runner Lifestyle, shoot them a picture of your grill, and they can just confirm to you if that'll fit or not. So if you're looking to have your Raptor lights in the lower portion of your grill, it's going to be with this lower 4 light setup because if you were to do 3, they would not be centered in the middle, and so it'd look kind of weird. And so you're going to go with this 4 option. If you want to go up to the upper grill section and want 3, it's going to be even, and if you want 4, you're going to want to get the small ones. Okay, so I know this might be kind of confusing, but there will be specific spots for your own application with these lights, and we're going to dive into those options out on the car itself and show you exactly what slots you're going to be sliding these into. All right, so we've jumped outside and we're going to show you exactly where we put these 4 and 3 upper grill light setups. And so right now we have the 3 upper light grill setup on, and it's going to be on this middle row right here that has the centered hexagon. And we're going to go ahead and throw on the 4 light setup and show you what that looks like up close and where to put it. Okay, so just for visual purposes, we've left the 3 light in and added the 4 light just so we can get a comparison on how they look. And so we threw in the 4 light right here. It's on this upper piece, not the very top, but just below that has the full hexagons. So they go on this row. This is probably our most popular option that people go with, and it's compatible with just about every grill as long as they have this sense of shape right here. And so the 3 light goes just below and they're a little larger. Okay, so now we got the lower grill setup on. We're choosing the smoked amber, for example, but this is kind of where the location is going to be for these ones. It's not going to be the very top row just because the hexagon is cut in half, but the next one below is going to be where those go. We'll pull you up close to show you what it looks like. So just the one that we recommend throwing them is the top row right here, but you can obviously throw these on any of these wherever you want to. They're super universal. All right, so I hope that answered any of the questions that you had on kind of where we put our Raptor lights as well as what slots are compatible with your rig. If you have any other questions, just throw a question in the comments below, or just hit this email address, just type this into your email, or just hit the link in the description below to our email address and ask whatever your question you have. We'd be happy to hear about it. We have a guy on our email all the time, and so you can go ahead and ask him. Okay, so that sort of wraps up kind of compatibility and color and size option for you. So now we're going to jump into the install and make sure that we cover everything, and so you can have all your questions answered and make it easier for you for your install. All right guys, so just super quick as follows. The tools you're going to need are just some crimping tools for the add a fuse and negative O-ring, and then just some needle nose pliers or a fuse puller if you have one. Usually there is one in the engine bay fuse box just underneath the lid. So if there isn't one there, needle nose pliers will do the trick. Okay guys, next you're just going to need electrical tape. This isn't necessary either, but just to bind the wires together are going to make them a lot easier when routing them. And then the last thing you're going to need is just a 10mm bolt. So first things first, before we actually throw in the Raptor lights, the only piece that you need to remove is this upper tray piece above the grill right here to expose the backside. You don't need a flathead screwdriver, but it can make it easier. All you just do is click in this center piece right there, and then just get your nail underneath there or the flathead screwdriver, and these will just pull right out. Or put up like that. All right, so there's going to be a bunch of these clips all around, and so you're just going to click each one of them in and then just pull them all out. Okay, so with that out of the way, now we're going to throw in these Raptor lights that are included in the kit. Today we're going to be installing these smoked amber 4-light setup for the upper grill, and so we are going to show you which ones we slid those in. We already did previously in the video, but we'll give you an up close as well. All right, so since we are doing the 4-light setup again, we're just going to be using this, and this slot right here. They're super easy. You're just going to slide the harness in first, and then line everything up. Make sure these prongs are slit in between the blower hexagons. Make sure the tabs line up, and just snap it in. Okay, so here's what the backside looks like. It's just going to be these two tabs snapping into your grill, and then these right here are going to be snapping in to your grill piece. Now you can snap these however way you'd like them. You just slip the harness in first. Make sure everything is lined up centered, and give it a push. All right, so when it comes to wiring these Raptor lights up to your car, we try to make it as easy as possible for you, so you just get it done as quick as possible. So depending on which setup you get, we're going to give you a different harness. Since we're going with the 4-light, we've got a 4 harness right here. If you get 3, you'll have a 3-light harness. Okay, so with these Raptor lights snipped in and the wiring harness unraveled, I'm just going to go ahead and snip them onto the back. These just clip in, it's super easy. We'll just bring you up close and show you how. All right, so you're just going to go ahead and grab any piece of the harness. They are pretty universal. Just make sure these can only go in one way. So when you snap them together and you hear that snap, you know it's connected. So we're just going to do that same with all of the Raptor lights. Super duper easy. As long as you hear the snap, you know you have a good connection. Okay, so this definitely isn't required, but something we like to do around here just to keep it clean. Since these are going to bunch together, the closer ones will, because less slack is being used. We're just going to take up all the slack that we have. It'll look something like this, and then we're just going to zip tie it all together just to make sure everything stays nice and clean. Okay, so now with everything connected and secured with those zip ties if you want to, just going to go ahead and route it around the side of the car so it's out of the way of the fans or anything like that. And then we're going to slip it through the firewall, and we'll show you exactly where, and then we'll tuck it down into the cabin fuse box. Okay, so the way that we're going to route this wire isn't specific or anything is required, just kind of the way we like to do it. So we're going to come beneath this radiator frame right here, just so it's tucked out of the way. Pull all the wire through. Now once that's pulled through, we're just going to wrap it to the right of the battery and tuck it along with the rest of the wires kind of beneath everything, and we're going to slip it through the firewall. Okay, so obviously being extra tidy, you can zip tie this wire along the side just so they stay secure, and so you know they're not going to move anywhere. But once you get to the back, there's going to be a grommet back on this firewall, and we'll come real close and show you. It's going to be this grommet right here. We've already pulled it out, but this is where this wire is going to. If you just want to pull that rubber grommet off and slip the wire down into the crack. Okay, so we're going to switch cameras and bring you really up close. It's going to be this grommet down in the back on the firewall. We're just going to pop it off and then feed our wire down in there. Now we've already popped it off because we've ran a light bar wire through there, but we'll show you exactly which one it is. Okay, so coming up close, it's going to be this hole right here. There was a grommet initially on this one, but since we've run a wire through there already, it's going to be that hole right there. All right, so we're going to feed this through the hole that we just showed you. We're going to wrap the two negative and positive terminal together just so it can find its way down into the footwell a little easier and so they can stay together. All right, so essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to stick the end of these two wires down into that hole. What you want it to do when you stick it in is put it in and want it to go directly down the cavity, and then it should pop out the footwell. Of course, if it doesn't happen the first time, just give it another try, and then eventually you'll see it pop out in the footwell. All right, so we fed the wire through and we can see it. It's going to be a really hard spot to see just because we're going to have to get a camera down there. So we're just going to swap you out with the phone, bring it up close and show you exactly where it comes out and where we need to route it next. All right, so coming up inside of your footwell right here, up here just to the right of that metal bolt right here, it has the circular bracket. Just to the right of it is where the wire is going to be coming out when you feed that. Just going to bring it underneath, make sure you avoid this e-brake coming behind it, and we're going to wrap around to the fuse box. All right, so with those two wires pulled down through the firewall as well as managed to where we want them to be, we're going to grab these two included pieces in our kit. This is going to be the negative terminal ground right here, and this is going to be the positive wire out of fuse. Make sure there's two fuses in this one. We're going to show you exactly which fuse spot to put this in, and then crimp this onto the positive one like I'm doing right now. So first thing we're going to do is grab the negative terminal right here. Just going to twist up that copper wire so it slips into our ground O-ring. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Then we're going to take our O-ring right here and slip it. Make sure there's a lot of metal to copper contact right there. And then this is where our crimping tool is going to come in handy. Just going to go ahead and come under here and give it a crimp. You're going to know this is connected well when you can tug on these lightly and they're not going to budge. Okay. Next we're going to do the same thing with the positive wire, but with our out of fuse right here. And so twist up the wire, grab our out of fuse, make sure it's going on the positive one, slip it in, grab our crimping tool and crimp it down. You're going to know there's a good connection when this is nice and snug with a light pole. Okay, so this one came with our big ring, and we like to get these out with our kit, but sometimes due to shortage with these big ones, we got to send out a smaller one just so we can get the job done. If you do get a smaller one that won't fit around the bolt, just go ahead and snip the end of the smaller one since it won't fit. You're going to pry them apart, and it's going to be sandwiched by the bolt itself. Okay, so with those out of fuse and negative O-ring connected, I'm just going to point out where you're going to be grounding out. It's going to be on this bolt right here below the fuse box. I'm just going to unbolt this with that 10 mil, and then we're going to slip the O-ring on it and then shut it back down. Okay, with that removed, we're just gonna go ahead and slide on this O-ring right here and bolt it back on. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and grab this fuse cover right here. This is gonna show us which fuse we're gonna be tapping into. I know there's a lot of questions online, like which one are you gonna tap into? And so the one that we recommend and the one we tell all of our customers is this very top left fuse right here called the tail position. Now this is a 10 amp fuse, and this is what our Raptor lights run off of, and they're just connected to your headlights. And so super simple. We're just gonna pull this very top left fuse, the tail position fuse, and then tap in the add fuse included in your kit. Now we've pulled the fuse cover off of our cabin fuse box. Just gonna go ahead and grab our needle nose pliers or a fuse puller if you have one. And then we're gonna come up and grab this top left. Gonna go ahead and grab this top left fuse right here. This is the tail position fuse again. Just gonna pull that out. Now with that one removed, we're just gonna take our add fuse and we're just gonna slip it into the same position. Okay, so now with that added, everything is routed and powered, and so we can just go ahead and light these up. But of course we want to manage these wires, and so we're going to tuck everything behind this side panel and get everything out of the way, out of the pedals. Okay, so we're going to go back over into the engine bay just to tidy everything up in the footwell. We're just going to pull the wire snug so there's no loose strings around your pedals causing any accidents. So we're just going to pull that wires all the way back tight, zip tie everything together, make sure everything's snug, and show you what the Raptor lights look like. Okay, so again, we're up by the engine bay. We're going to find the wire that we routed for these Raptor lights, make sure all the tension is snugged back out of here. And then just like that, we have all of our extra wire. Just going to bunch it all together and then zip tie it. Okay, so last but not least, everything is plugged in. Now we just got to go ahead and throw this tray back over. Make sure everything looks nice. Just going to go ahead and set it in the exact same position that it was when we took it off. Snap these clips back in and tidy it up. Okay, so when you pop these out, they will be in this open position right here. What you want to do is just push up to the bottom, and so they're flush with the top, and then these are good to go back in. All right, and just like that, it is finished. We're super excited to show you. Thanks again for coming along. I know we got a bunch of questions because we already had a Raptor light install video, but we just wanted to answer all the questions that you had. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below or hit our email address below and shoot us an email asking any questions that you have. I want to thank you again for watching. If you like these Raptor lights, go ahead and click the link in the description below to our website. You can go ahead and purchase them there. If you like this shirt, it's also on the website below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.